Compared to Red County, Flint County is far more isolated and far quieter than its eastern neighbor, which we've investigated in a prior video. Flint County is a rugged wilderness where civilization fades in the tree line. Flint County is marked by deep forests, winding highways, and near-forgotten towns. The sound of wind through the pine trees and the steady rush of the Flint River are often the only things that break the silence. It's a place that feels untouched, and yet holds many mysteries for the player to discover. From strange locations hidden off the beaten path, to legends passed down in whispers across internet forums from the early 2000s, this region has long stirred the curiosity of players who dare to look deeper. In today's video, we'll venture into the heart of Flint County to uncover the secrets it holds. My name is Lunch Tray Boy, and let's get started. In the Leafy Hollow region of Flint County, we can find a large rock where players claim to see an angel on the rock. Some players claim to see Mothman on the rock. Mothman is a real-life urban legend where a winged humanoid creature was allegedly seen in West Virginia, where it's believed that he would appear before tragedies strike, like the Silver Bridge collapse of 1967, where people claim to have seen him before the bridge collapsed. Other players claim to see Pyramid Head from the Silent Hill franchise. But if I'm being honest, I really don't see anything. I think it's all comes down to an optical illusion where players trick themselves into seeing something that isn't really there. Much like the Hell House illusion we went over in my Red County video. Now, in the Back O Beyond region of San Andreas, if we drive through this wall here, we will end up clipping through the map. Sometimes when a player doesn't drive fast enough, they'll get stuck in the wall, and other times they'll teleport to random locations. The reason why this happens is due to the game detecting that the player is too far away from the game's limits, and it will just teleport them to the nearest pedestrian spawn point. I discovered a glitch similar to this years ago, where outside of CJ's safe house in Mulholland, if you walk on the back patio by his pool and walk into the corner, you will clip through the map and be teleported in Vinewood. So this is clearly just developer oversight and nothing really paranormal about it. The farm is a location in northern Flint County. However, in the game's manual, this location is called Cult Location, which is where the theory of this location being an Epsilon base gains traction. However, this could just be referring to the survivalists that appear here in the mission Body Harvest. At first glance, there really isn't anything of interest here. It's just a large farmhouse you'd see anywhere else in the middle of nowhere. However, at nighttime is a different story. As mentioned in my Red County video, there are some areas around the map where at night they will have a blue glow to them. And the same is said about this farmhouse. The blue glow mystery is believed to have ties to the Epsilon cult. So with this location being called Cult Location in the game manual, and the blue lights appearing in the farmhouse at night, it could be possible that this location is in fact the headquarters of the Epsilon program. The most interesting part about this myth is the extremes that players will go to see if it's true. On screen now is a list of commands the player must follow in order to trigger an encounter with the Epsilon cult at this location. However, doing all 17 of these tedious tasks have never resulted in a player legitimately encountering the Epsilon cult. If we make our way to the Flint intersection between Flint County and Los Santos and follow the coastline, we can encounter the Suicidal Photographer, where we can find a pedestrian taking pictures of the view of Los Santos from Flint County. After he's done taking pictures, he ends up walking off to the shoreline and falling into the ocean, where he drowns to death. The reasoning behind this is possibly due to developers not designing a route for the photographer to follow after taking the pictures, since you really don't see any other pedestrians walking along the coastline in this area. And since the nearest pedestrian path to walk to is in Los Santos, that's where the photographer tries to go to but ends up dying in the process. A popular myth in San Andreas would be the ghost cars that appear all over the map. These vehicles vary from Glendales to Sadlers to beater variations of the vehicles, but in this video we'll just focus on the ones that spawn in Flint County. Starting with the two beater Glendales that spawn on a steep hill in the Back O Beyond region of Flint County. Upon rendering, these two cars will slide down the hill, giving the appearance that these cars are driving by themselves. The beater Sadlers that spawn in Flint County have been linked to the Epsilon program. According to the Epsilon website, A potential member of the Epsilon program must search for a red truck with a dented fender before they can join the cult. You can also find a beater saddler with its headlights turned on in the shady cabin region of the map. I don't necessarily believe there's anything paranormal with these cars. I just think Rockstar just placed them to add more atmosphere to the area, so you can just drive by and say, oh, there's that abandoned car and it's been sitting there for a few years. Maybe, someone abandoned it, or maybe someone went camping and never came back. That kind of feeling they wanted to go for, I assume. Moving on to the most popular urban legend of San Andreas would be Bigfoot. For those of you who don't know, Bigfoot or Sasquatch is a real-life urban legend that dates back hundreds of years to alleged sightings from Native American tribes such as the Yakut, the Lumi, and the Silelis tribes, where they've passed down stories about tall humanoid beings covered in hair. Modern interpretations of Bigfoot gained traction in the 1950s after Jerry Crew, a logger in California, came across large footprints and reported it to local newspapers. Journalist Andrew Genzali published the findings, coining the term Bigfoot. And over the years, thousands of people have reported sightings of Bigfoot. Which brings us back to San Andreas. Sightings of Bigfoot have been reported from Red County, Flint County, to even Tierra Robata. Most of the popular reports of Bigfoot in San Andreas are near the Mount Chiliad Natural Arch, Shady Cabin, and in the Baco Beyond region. There's been hundreds of videos and screenshots of alleged sightings of Bigfoot. Some people claim to have heard growling in the woods of Flint County late at night. Although the growling noise heard by the player is authentic, it doesn't come from a cryptid stalking the woods of the game, but instead it comes from CJ's stomach. You see, in San Andreas there's a hunger meter where CJ will lose weight when he's hungry, and to refill the hunger meter, you have to go to an in-game restaurant like Cluck and Bell and eat some food in order to gain back body fat and muscle. And when the game notifies the player that CJ is hungry, you can hear CJ's stomach growl, which of course could be mistaken by the player as growling from Bigfoot. And as for the alleged footage and screenshots proving the existence of Bigfoot, these are all either photoshopped or mods made by players. And in 2005, co-founder and former Rockstar Games CEO Terry Donovan came out and said, there is no Bigfoot, just like in real life, when he was asked if Bigfoot was in San Andreas. But over 20 years later, to this day, many players still swear by their encounters of Bigfoot in San Andreas, despite there being no evidence otherwise. If you guys made it this far, thank you for watching. And if you haven't already, feel free to watch my Mysteries of Red County video I have on screen now. And if you enjoyed this video, leave a like and subscribe as well for more content like this. And with all that out of the way, I hope you guys have a great day.